Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I want to show off my Explosive Titan build in Destiny 2 that I'm having an absolute blast with after the introduction of Solar 3.0, and I wanted to show it for you guys because I think a lot of people are underrating this exotic, and it's one you should definitely check out, and that's Severance Enclosure. If you didn't know, its exotic perk is Spheromatic Trigger. Powered melee final blows unleash a damaging explosion. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the radius and damage of the explosion. So what that means is you can use your finisher, or even easier, you can use your throwing hammer to trigger these explosions pretty much consistently, especially once you combine that throwing hammer with Roaring Flames times 3, final blows of solar abilities, or ignitions increase the damage of your solar abilities, stacks 3 times. Times 3 Roaring Flames, you got your hammer, and you're able to take down pretty much 95% of the enemies in this game, it feels like, with your hammer once you get rolling. I love this combination so much. I use it very consistently, and it is useful across all kinds of different activities. Whether you're burning through the seasonal activities, strikes, gambit, Nightfalls, anything. It is so much fun, and I absolutely recommend you use it. Now, what I will say, a little caveat, sometimes the enemies will die and you won't see the explosion on the screen. There's no big effect, but trust me when I say it is working. It's just a visual glitch, it seems, that I've noticed, that sometimes I'll just be throwing my hammer and things will just fall over dead, and I don't know what exactly is going on, but that's just something to keep in mind. Visually, it might not always seem as impressive, but you'll see all the enemies are destroyed. That's why I like when you take it into something like the Nightmare Containment and you're trying to gather the essence there, you're actually able to see how many you're killing at one time as you get the +1s on the screen. So that's just something that you all should know. Rest of the build, I was running Burning Maul. I love this. It's so much fun now that they buff it in PvE, and so I try to run this as often as possible. It's really a blast to use, and I'm having a blast spinning to win, basically. The aspects I'm using, obviously, Roaring Flames, this is huge. Also, Soul Invictus. As I'm getting those solar final blows, I'm also generating those sunspots. Pretty standard. You're also getting restoration, so you're healing all the time, so you can stay in the thick of it. The only downside is when you're missing throwing hammers, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's the only real time that this build slows down a bit, and even then you can still melee and you still get a little bit of benefit, but you can also generate your melee pretty quickly as with some of your fragments. So I've got Ember of Torches, which means I'm always radiant. We've got Ember of Benevolence. Applying Restoration, Cure, or Radiant grants the increased grenade reload and class ability. This is pretty easy to do with this build, so I'm pretty much always proccing one of those, and for that reason, that's why I'll have my abilities back fairly quickly, even if I miss a hammer and it goes off a ledge or something. Solar Ignitions have increased area effect, and then this was a big one. Final blows with your Solar Super cause targets to ignite. This does work with the spinning hammer, so I'm still exploding things even though I am using the Burning Maul Super. Next up, I'm running the brand new Trials Fusion Burden of Guilt. The reason I have a great role for this particular build, well-rounded, which throwing a grenade or hitting a target with my melee grants a stacking bonus to stability, handling, and range. Very convenient. And also Swashbuckler gains increased damage from melee kills and kills with this weapon. I am getting Swashbuckler procced pretty much all the time because of my throwing hammer kills. So this thing is going to be buffed pretty much 100% of the time as I'm running around, which is very, very convenient. I'm also rocking Borrowed Time, which has Dragonfly and Feeding Frenzy. The reason being, I just like the explosions from Dragonfly. You could use Callous Mini Tool with Incandescent or something like that, Drang. Those are good options, but for me personally, I was using this. I was also running the weekly Nightfall, so I need to take down Overload Champions, so it makes sense for me to run the SMG, and I really enjoy that. Then we've got the King of Explosions, Galahorn. Needs no introductions. This is something that I run when I don't know what to throw into that slot, because it's just basically easy mode. It does fit the theme of this build, so I do like it, and yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory there with that bad boy. Next up, we've got our armor mods. I'm rocking Explosive Well Maker. We've got Kinetic Siphon and Harmonic Siphon and minor resilience. And the reason I'm running the siphons, mostly because I personally like to have my super as much as possible. So when I am getting kills with my weapons, I'm pretty much always generating orbs, get my super back quickly, and go from there. We also got Phantom Wisdom, again, trying to get a super back. I was running an Unstoppable Scout and Overloads because I was running the Nightfall, so I'll swap out my Burden of Guilt for something like the Persis D, any of those Scout Rifles that you really enjoy. In case you want to do that, it doesn't really hurt the build much at all. Then we've got Armor of the Dying Star, so we're reducing solar and void damage, Concussive Dampener, and then Well of Life here. So I am getting regeneration. Again, you want to generate either regeneration or radiant or some of those abilities pretty much at all times. Then we've got Elemental Ordnance, defeating combatants with grenades, gets the well, that's nice. Recuperation, again, I'm generating orbs a lot, so I'm going to replenish health when I do so. And then Absolution, so I'm also reducing my cooldowns there. I want my abilities to have near 100% uptime, and so I'm really leaning into that aspect as much as possible. My hammer is going to be doing most of the work. My weapons can do the work once they're procced up as well, so that's really where I'm doing most of my damage. Also, I was running Classic Restoration. This is easy in case you get in trouble. You can just pop your barricade and you heal yourself. The Revitalizing Blast. This is something I think is underrated. Stunning a champion causes it to ignite and clears your shields out. This does a nice chunk of damage to champions. It also will damage the enemies that are around the champions as well. So I find this to be very, very effective. And I think it's going to be an absolutely vital mod once you get into Grandmaster Nightfalls, if I had to guess. If I'm not running this, I will throw on Solar Fulmination, your nations to increase damage and increase radius, or something of that nature if I want to, but just depends on how I'm feeling. You will also throw on a well if you want to, but overall, the reason I like this build so much is just because it is so much fun. It's not going to be the one that ever does maximum DPS or anything like that. But there's very few times in Destiny 2 where you need something of that nature. But you can throw on weapons. You can throw on a linear fusion or something like that in your heavy slot to do heavier damage and just be an ad clearing machine with this. As long as you're able to hit consistent throwing hammers, this is probably the most fun I've had in Destiny in quite some time. And I encourage everybody, try this combo out for yourself and let me know if you enjoyed as much as I do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for me, because I do put out build videos pretty consistently, and I will keep throwing out Destiny videos pretty much every day going forward as I normally do. So definitely subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comments down below what other exotics I haven't covered yet that you would want to see me make builds for, whether it's for the Warlock or the Titan. Would be for Hunter, but I deleted it for charity, so not a Hunter right now. I have to build that back up. Anyway, my name is Jopa. I hope you enjoyed once again, and I'll catch you all later.